Well, I got a hanger in my hand. I don't know why, but hey, today's video is fun. It's been a few weeks since I've called All's Fair both the worst thing that I've ever seen and also kind of a fun time. And today I'd like to revise my statement and say that All's Fair is actually the best thing that's ever happened to me this year. I love this and I want 10 more seasons. So thank God it's been renewed for a second one. Kim's acting is still stiff as a door. The storylines are still as thrilling as watching paint dry, and we get more Sarah Paulson out of it. Guys, she's so good. Like, what a treasure. Also, everyone has money, so everyone just looks good. This is the best law show in town. I have spoken about the first 3 episodes, and I will leave the link down below so you can go watch that masterpiece, but a quick recap before we get into episodes 4, 5, and 6. Kim, Naomi, and Niecy start a law firm together with Glenn's blessing, leaving Sarah to fend for herself. 10 years later, every single one of them is a multimillionaire from scoring big settlements against ultra-rich men in divorce cases. And we love them for it. If the show is going to be absurd, let it at least favor women. Everything about their lives is egregious luxury and blinding wealth, from private jets to luxury resorts converted into livable homes to the most outrageous outfits a lawyer could ever slay in the courtroom, even though they're never in a courtroom. All's Fair then turns into an episodic series with a new divorce case each week for the ladies who barely lawyer to do nothing about. This is a lawyer show where cases always end up solving themselves before anyone has to do any actual lawyering. It's almost like no one in the writer's room knew anything about law. You know what they did know something about, though? Serving. And I think we need more of that, to be honest. Kim and Chase then get a divorce. Sarah represents him because her life mission is to destroy the 3. Glenn represents Kim because they needed as many serious actors as possible to give Kim as little as possible to do. And you know what? This show keeps getting worse for the better. We had some pretty terrible storylines. Remember Jessica Simpson with all of the prosthetics throwing a cup of acid at her ex-husband at the end of her story, and it was just bonkers fun. Well, no more of that. No more unhinged, crazy like appearances. It's just very bland cases that solve themselves. Always, with no exception. Like, no law work has gone into any of these cases, and now I fear that the past 10 years, these women have just become millionaires by pretending to do law, walking into the room, acting very confident, and saying, this is the way it's gonna go. Slam, thank you ma'am, shablam, looking fierce, yes, slay mom in the housetown boots, and they just end up winning cases without ever litigating anything. Maybe that's what they told Kim when she decided to be a lawyer, because she's not going through the best time. As we know, Kim has failed her bar exam again, even after winning so many cases that she became a multimillionaire over the course of 10 years. I know, shocking. I don't understand either. But the cases doth seem like they are solvable with no lawyer experience, which brings me to a point that I threw out there in my first video about this show, which was, I think Kim wrote this. And considering that she uses ChatGPT to study for law, then we can only assume that she also used ChatGPT to write this show. So are we seeing the first ever show where ChatGPT should really be one of its writing credits? Or is it the first show that we've caught it?
You didn't just tap into the hive mind, you jacked right into the goddamn control center.
You know, in the first third of the show, at least we got that one where she sold the jewelry at an auction and we got to see Glenn make Sarah eat shit in that bathroom.
Do you ever think how much happier we'd all be if your mother swallowed?
And I love every minute of it. Like, this show puts my brain in such a specific comatose state that really allows my body to relax. Ryan Murphy might be the biggest menace when it comes to true crime adaptation to series because he loves to sensationalize everything, but something about his original work just really tickles the right part of my brain, and it really kicks me in the right part of my core. It's the truth. I can't hide it. Like, Scream Queen Season 1 remains one of my favorite seasons ever of any TV show. Stay tuned, I might do a recap on that because it's been brewing on my mind. So if you enjoy getting kicked in all the right places by Kim's wooden acting, then subscribe. She does a terrific living person impression on this show. Episode 4, and the opening is all about Niecy Nash being rich and glamorous. Her triplets are now grown-ass men, and they reassure her they're okay with her dating again, but Niecy tells them not only does she not need their permission, exactly, she's had her house full of testosterone for the past 18 years and isn't trying to fill any voids. Niecy is the one person on this show that has her shit together, so naturally, Ryan Murphy's gonna with her the most. Right after this glorious breakfast scene, here is Niecy in her office, surrounded by debris because she demolished. I mean, look at that hat. Naomi's there. Naomi's character is mostly just there. She did get a bit of a storyline earlier this season, but at this point, I feel like Naomi is allergic to serving. She just can't do it. She can't move her body in ways that would present themselves as a serve to the observer. Apparently she's engaged and she's still not cracking the top 5 most interesting people in this room of 3. A prayer for Naomi. And Kim, as always, is doing her very best human being impression. What a star. And I don't think people talk enough about the challenges that are filming an entire 5-minute breakfast sequence with food right in front of you and getting through it without eating a single goddamn thing. No, I'm joking. In this blink it and you'll miss it moment, Kim Kardashian's body double eats a bit of yogurt and granola. Fat whore and unprofessional. The real Kim is living ahead of time. She's already masticating the food that we didn't even see go into her mouth yet. Kim is an actress because while everyone around here is taking small bites of the food while they're on the clock, Kim is acting like she's eating. And then this conversation, Niecy's telling them about this party for singles that a friend of hers invited her to, and Kim's face just receiving this information. It's like she was zoning out and then mid-sentence stopped zoning out, pulled herself back into scene, is like, get your shit together, girl. You're working. A lot of bad juju from this scene. Niecy's white coworkers pressuring her to go to a party so you know something bad is gonna happen. But first, a moment for this dress. And Niecy gets all dolled up to go to this P. Diddy looking party at someone's house. She gets to talking to this guy who gets her a drink. And because good people can't have nice things, she's roofied by him and wakes up the next day after being brutally assaulted and photographed in compromising positions against her will. I do want to commend the show for not being graphic and not indulging too much in reenacting said violence. I think that you can really portray the feelings of what the attack can mean for someone and the aftermath of how that person feels without actually showing everything happening on screen. And I think it's one thing that Niecy does very well. The show focuses quite a lot on her the minutes after the attack, of course. And I think that was brilliant. And I think we need to do more of that instead of like the other way where we just show the woman get brutally attacked on screen over and over and over and over and over and over. And it goes on for a while. That's about the positives I've got for the show, because the rest of the story feels very jarring and almost serving a specific plot. It felt very much like they wanted to justify why Niecy's character is still single and hasn't gone back into the dating pool, because her coworkers and her kids are telling her that she should go out and find someone. And then the first time that she does go out in almost 2 decades, this happens to her. And then by the very end of what felt like a strange storyline for this type of show, all she says is,
"See, I told you, dating is not for me."
Also, it really takes you out of a very serious scene when everyone is supporting her, and then Kim hits you with,
Justice will be served one way or the other.
and you know what? Damn it, I believe her. Some of you are simply not showing up to work dressed like this, and I think that's a problem for you to solve. The case for the episode is a big fat waste of time. It's the one part of the show where they can actually do lawyer stuff, except that would require doing research and writing accurate lawyer dialogue. And why would you do that when you can instead write out vague statements of girl boss power? Yes. And it's so fun. Like, for example, this lady got together with her husband years ago and she never wanted kids, but he did. Nonetheless, they stayed together and her business became super successful. Now they decided to divorce all amicably, except now he's asking for more than he should to punish her for not wanting kids, even though she was always honest about it. And the writing is like the laziest slop that you could slop your way into a workable script. The client says, I feel like he's being punitive, and I don't think I should be punished for having chosen to do something that was right for me, rather than pleasing a man. Kim says, Cheryl, you were and are entitled to do with your body whatever you choose. And this little guilt trip of his, that has a statute of limitations. And then that 2000s ABC legal drama music starts playing in the background. And Niecy goes, and no matter what this shark of an attorney says, the law is on your side. Make no mistake about that. Our job is to make sure it stays there. Emmy, Golden Globe. Fuck it, break the rules, Oscar. And guys, guess who Cheryl's husband's lawyer is? Sarah Paulson. Sí, me gusta. I need to explain this scene because for some reason it made me laugh for like 5 minutes straight. Sarah makes a comment about Kim having put on some weight since her breakup, but it's barely noticeable. Kim says, "Thanks, Car. It's a good thing you're so thin these days. Less space for your personality." And Sarah just says, "Beef curtains."
Less space for your personality.
Beef curtains.
It made me laugh. It made me ha ha he he. Giggle, giggle. Like, you just had to be lucky enough to be in that room with Sarah. And it had to be Kim, of all the talentless people LA has to offer. And though the writing is lazy at best and sloppily put together at worst, every line that Sarah gets is meticulously and very carefully crafted and put together to take her places. And she is not afraid to go there. Get it? She's not afraid to go. She's really mean, guys. Her client's line of attack in the divorce is an abortion Cheryl had and failed to disclose. By doing that, she denied him of a child, blah, blah, blah. It's an evil line of defense. Niecy has an outburst about women not being objects. And when Kim says, "Don't you have any compassion whatsoever?" with a conviction of a chair, Sarah says, "For you too and your coat hanger loving client? Nope, not a single goddamn molecule of it." Oh my fucking God. We then get an investigation montage of who the man that drugged Niecy is, and it just smells of money. Niecy is always dressed to someone's funeral. And then this.
Actions speak so much louder than words. Come, sit.
This just made me laugh. Like, why does she look so uncomfortable? Every line she delivers is like Sophia the Robot clocking in for her part-time job in Hollywood.
I had the photos cleaned.
Then they find out who the man is, and it turns out Glenn won a case against his father years ago, which kind of goes nowhere. I'm assuming it's setting up a storyline for the rest of the season. Because then, the next day, the man is found dead of a potential suicide, which could technically possibly be not a suicide, so like a homicide. What are we doing? Ryan, reel it in. And you know what? Watching this, yeah, I was shocked, but not as shocked as Kim. Kim could not believe it. She is beside herself. And for the divorce case of the week, the woman that had the abortion, her ex just drops everything and stops harassing her because his girlfriend then gets pregnant. And now that he has what he wants, a baby, he no longer gives a shit and just leaves her alone. Not a single shred of lawyering needed in this case. Episode 5. Sarah is a single mother and her preteen daughter is a loser with no real friends other than her nanny and violin teacher. Damn, like mother, like daughter. She had this daughter with her gay best friend, which made me assume that she is a lesbian, even though I don't think it's been confirmed, and she has expressed sexual interest for men. So for now, I'm going to assume that Sarah Paulson is like this one girl that I know, romantically homosexual, sexually bisexual. There's a new thing for ya. Along the way, Sarah and this gay best friend grew apart because, and I quote, "Sometimes the best thing you can do for someone is just to let him go. Especially if you're going to choose to marry a crystal meth addict who's dumb as a duvet cover." She has such a way with words. Shakespeare would be jealous. Today's lawyer case is Brooke Shields, who wants to divorce her senile husband, despite having signed a prenup 40 years prior that would leave her with nothing. Ryan was really digging through the who's who of where are they now. Jessica Simpson, Elizabeth Berkley, Brooke Shields. We get it, Ryan. You're a bottom. Brooke met her husband in grad school, got pregnant, her life became about supporting him, but she never felt taken advantage of. Signed a prenup, all Gucci, but they loved each other and she lived a very happy, comfortable life, except 6 years prior, after like 34 years of marriage, he was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's, and now he is so bad that he is in a care home, and she just wants a divorce because she wants to stop feeling responsible for him if something happens to him. It's her they call, and she wants to go travel. She wants to go see the world, and she wants to go live life while she can, because that's what he would want. Problem is, her daughter is now responsible for her father's estate, and she doesn't want her mom divorcing him because she sees that as her mom abandoning her father. So, you know, prenup is a problem. Technically, there could be some lawyer work involved, but there won't be. And then ladies who barely lawyer and drink tea, barely lawyer and drink tea. And this whole prenup storyline is the show's way of reminding us that Naomi is still there. This one, the blonde lady, yeah, she's still there. She's about to sign her prenup too. Do we care? No. But here we are, and there she is. Always just hanging out. Like her presence getting lost in the empty space around her. You would miss her if she didn't speak sometimes. Also, Sarah meets a fellow lawyer, Alberta Dome, who also hates Kim because she keeps stealing her high-profile clients, and they team up to destroy her through her divorce. Speaking of divorce, we get a horrifying scene of Sarah flirting with Chase, Kim's soon-to-be ex-husband, and she washes his hair, and we get slow motions of her washing his pecs. Why are we watching a lesbian caress this gay man's wet chest? What is this dragon behavior? I'm sorry. No. And then something phenomenal happens. Sarah's driving home, drunk as a skunk, singing Edge of 17 by Stevie Nicks. Stevie Nicks, who played a fictionalized version of Stevie Nicks in American Horror Story Apocalypse, a fellow witch, to the character of Sarah Paulson, also a witch. Anyway, Sarah's stopped by the police and asked to walk the plank, and she says,
You got any music? Because I move much better that way.
mean and drunk Sarah, oof. She's just built different. Then she's arrested and spends the night in jail. But Alberta comes to the rescue and they put their take Kim down plan into action. We also get Milan back, finally. Remember Milan, played by Teyana Taylor? Can't act to save her own life. But Milan is only back to tell Chase that she is pregnant with his child, but doesn't want his involvement, and she's just calling to letting him know, amid tears, and then she just hangs up. And just like that, Milan vanishes once again for the foreseeable future. And then the lawyer case of the episode solves itself. Brooke Shields speaks to her daughter, explains her side in about 10 to 15 seconds, and that's enough to change the course of the case. Once more, we've done no lawyering, but we fixed it. We solved it. We helped our client. Is this how it always is? Because this sounds easy. Sounds like shit I could do. Sounds more like therapy than lawyering if we're thinking about it. And now, Kim in her office, serving looks, doing lawyer talk on the phone. Pursuant to Section 15 of the contract, will initiate proceeding immediate injunctive relief. I kind of forgot why I was mentioning this scene, but it's because they get a visit from the FBI or whatever. They're investigating the guy that took the pictures of Niecy and then killed himself, and it all turns into nothing really. Nothing more than wasting 5 minutes of runtime. But hey, we got Kim Kardashian saying, pursuant to Section 15 of the contract, will initiate proceeding immediate injunctive relief. Fierce. Always dressed for an event, never makes the event a day at work at the office. Sarah visits her daughter's gay baby daddy, who stopped speaking to Sarah because, this is so funny, Sarah's just so fun to be around. She's such an interesting person. So they stopped talking because Sarah sued his ex-husband for child endangerment when he forgot to bring her daughter's backup inhaler on a hike. But they sort of work things out because Sarah is on a path to rebuild relationships in her life, one smart quip at a time. Episode 6. First line of the episode, Sarah says to Chase, "Oh, for Christ's sake, your goddamn hair looks like the Exxon Valdez jizzed all over your head." I don't even know what half of this means, but I love it, and I need more of it. Welcome to the divorce proceedings of Chase and Kim. Jim Kardashian. Jim Kardashian. Sounds like they opened a gym. And what do you know? Not a lot of lawyer stuff happens on this one either. It's our main... Chase gives his little deposition and he talks about how much he loved Kim and their relationship, and Kim gets so emotional she has to remove herself and she rushes to the bathroom and has a crying moment holding her torso. And guys, this show is not serious. How does she look this glamorous while she's crying? Because Because when I cry, I look like a wet dog, and she looks like she's getting paid $100,000 for a photo shoot. You know, actors get paid to cry on camera. Kim gets paid to look beautiful while crying on camera. Kim has her period. That means that the embryo she had illegally implanted didn't take. Not only did she break the law, she broke it for nothing. And Glenn is pissed. Now it's time for Kim to give her deposition. This is a big emotional moment for her. Guys, it's bad. It's bad, but she looks gorgeous. And everyone around her is acting like she's acting right, which makes us feel like she's acting more like she's supposed to be acting than how she's actually acting. Yeah, the show is gaslighting us, and I love it. But Chase is moved and wavering, so Sarah and Alberta come up with a plan to have the prenup nullified. Challenging the prenup without challenging the prenup, because if you challenge the prenup and then you end up losing, you walk away with nothing. It's very terrible. So instead, they're gonna act like they love the prenup and point out mistakes to have it nullified. Alberta casually goes over the assets reported until she lands on one that Kim failed to mention. And once again, the show is hellbent on giving Kim this moment to really let her character shine and tell her backstory. So when she's talking about this asset that she forgot to declare, it's this reform school that she was sent to as a kid. So I read upon it, and it looks like it's like a school that's used as an alternative to jail for kids, which is horrible. And apparently it's like really, really bad. And growing up, like after she became a successful woman, she bought the school so no other child would ever have to go through what she did. And I am very glad that Kim was surrounded by people who love her, you know, but also people who can act like she is being very emotional and compelling, because that tells us how to react. Does that make sense? It's so bad. But even Sarah is sympathetic to her story, which is impressive considering that, you know, she delivered all those lines with the conviction of a whispered question. But because she forgot to declare a said asset, the whole prenup is now thrown into question. Niecy thinks when they go low, we go to hell. And I love that mentality. Oh, take the high road, be the bigger person. That. Be the smaller person, be the skinnier person, and fucking go low. Oh, you're going to hell. Well, hell is where all the fun people are anyway. You know who's in heaven? Your homophobic aunt. I don't want to see that. Glenn, out of nowhere, seeing how much of a monster Sarah has become, realizes that she has played a role in her being a miserable cow. And I agree. Why the did you not let them take two more? Just one more person. What kind of fucking self-proclaimed feminists are you that you're going to abandon the first woman you ever meet that doesn't treat you as politely as you'd like? Conditional feminism is really ugly. Of course it was written by a gay man. So what if she's dedicated her entire life to trying to destroy them? You know, people need hobbies. To move forward on more fairer terms, and because a whole prenup has been thrown into question, the judge tells them to talk it amongst themselves and act as if the prenup was never there and see where they land with a division of assets, which means that the show is once again going to solve itself with zero lawyering involved. Isn't that fun? Best law drama in town. Season 2 coming soon. Sarah uses the embryos as leverage to get what she wants, so Kim decides to play in the I don't give a fuck Olympics and admits to having implanted the embryos illegally. Sarah's like, you really broke the law and killed 2 embryos that belong to my client? And she's like, yep, sure fucking did, and I'll punch you too if I want. Kim in this moment, honestly, right now, right there, in that little... Ooh, you know what? She was eating. Sarah's already salivating at the prospects of skinning Kim alive and taking half the firm. But she forgot one big detail. Men have feelings too. Chase feels really bad for Kim knowing how much those embryos meant to her and drops all the shenanigans. Meanwhile, Glenn has to leave to be with her husband, so Niecy's in charge now. And remember when Niecy said, when they go low, we go to hell? Well, First, she presents evidence that Chase had been rigging results of games to win financial bets and get out of debt. Then brings up Milan and his long history of cheating not only on women, but his job as well. And Sarah, for a moment there, proves that you can go lower than hell. Apparently, Sarah saved screenshots of the photos the dead guy took of Niecy the night of the assault, and even offers to put them on page 6 where they would look amazing. See, now this is too far. Yeah, like this is where I draw the line. But that's okay. It's okay because Niecy then proceeds to humiliate her with no mercy. Remember earlier when Sarah was arrested for drunk driving? Niecy got the footage of her ride to jail, and oh god, it was really sad. And then, of course, unsurprisingly, the crash out of the century. Sarah climbs onto the table, trying to turn the TV off, screaming at Niecy. Then she turns to Kim and she really goes for it.
I f***ed your husband in my mouth, in my
Car.
Let me tell you something.
I am better than you in every single way imaginable. I am a better lawyer, a better lover, a better mother, which is something you will never ever be. You infertile, career-obsessed Damn. Yeah, this is a little too far. Even Sarah was a bit freaked out by Sarah. But I want to take us all back to Kim reacting to all this information. Remember, acting is also reacting. Is that a real tear, or is that makeup made to look like she's crying? And you know what? This crash out is exactly what these ladies needed. Niecy and Sarah talk things out. They don't need to destroy each other. They just need to stand in their own power, keep showing up and showing out, prove them wrong by keeping doing things right. It's like ChatGPT wrote it. And then Kim walks in and she genuinely apologizes to Sarah for abandoning her all those years ago. They do share a human moment. Sarah acting her ass off, going through a tornado of emotions, and Kim just there, looking pretty. And then out of nowhere, the ending of the episode decides to be really fucking good. Glenn's husband has been really poorly for the past couple of episodes, and at this point, he is in his last moments of life. So the episode ends with Glenn hugging him and holding him in bed as we hear his breath slowly slowing down until it stops. And it's like so intense and like really sad, but also tragically beautiful. Like, more of this, please. And that's it. 3 episodes left of this absolute buffoon of a show, and I can't stop watching it. Can't stop watching it. It's fun. It's such a fun show. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like this video, why don't you give it a like down below and comment down below what's been your favorite part of the show so far. And if you haven't already, subscribe down below so you don't miss any future content. We will be covering the last 3 episodes when they're out in a couple weeks, so stay tuned for that. And until next time, stay safe, stay sane, stay stupid, and stay stuttering. Bye, guys.